Well, my little dump load refrigerator experiment has run its course. I didn't get the results I had hoped for, but I learned a lot from it. And so this is going to come off. The idea, the hope was that the cooling elements on the top would not only cool the area inside here, but it would have some moisture stick to the metal, the condensation, and which would drip down to the bottom, and I'd be able to release water from here. So the idea was not only refrigeration, but it was the idea of getting water from air. This is going to come off, and I'll be mounting a dehumidifier to the panel and see how well that works. Well, I've had this hooked up on DC for a while, and I mean directly using jumper leads from my hot wires that I had to the refrigerator, or one of them. I didn't need them both, and it didn't produce a whole lot. I didn't expect it to. I thought I'd go ahead and hook it up to the AC adapter and run it through my little inverter on the board to see if it does any better that way. The thing is see if I can read that. It just draws 3 amps. You know, if it's going to produce a lot, it's going to draw more power than 3 amps. I'll let that run for a day just to see how it does on the AC. Here we are, about 5:30 in the evening. The sun's going down. I'm about to lose power. So even running off of the 110 volts, the water production is not sufficient. So I'll get to modify this a bit. I didn't want to show the bending process on this little bugger, so that was done here on my vice brake. I have to trim away these tabs a little bit and drill holes. The blades on this are too close together, and when this collects water, the water droplets weren't able to drop out, so it would stay there until the machine went off, and eventually it would evaporate. I want the water collected in that to come off and drip into the reservoir. So I've pushed the blades together, every other pair, and cut some other blades, put little dimples in it so I can slide it in between the blades that are there, and it'll lock in place, and that gives a little drip point at the end of each blade, something like that. So they're not spaced out a lot, but I think it's far enough apart where water droplets will be able to travel. Now, I would normally call this a dry run, but I'm hoping for wet. I'll put a dimple on that. single drop right here, and the blades are getting nice and frosty, so I'm going to go ahead and put the whole thing back together again, so the blades can actually get colder, which will allow them to catch more. I forgot to mention, this is using the same cooling system that I had for that refrigerator, where the water was being pulled through a very small radiator. There's a fan on there to pull air through the radiator, and it's being pumped back into this little cooling block that is mounted behind this plate where the Peltiers are mounted between this aluminum plate and the copper cold sink. I'm going to call it. It's a heat sink, but I don't want it to get hot. I want it to get cold. So, if you want to take a closer look at that, check out that video. I think, what was it called? The refrigerator becoming bane of this project. Well, it's not all that fantastic, but it has been working. Running constantly since I turned it on at 7:30. It's now 1:30 in the afternoon, and it looks like it's got about 3/16 of an inch water in the bottom of the reservoir. So I don't have the fan on, because it's only used for the defrosting if it was necessary. I made a little bitty insulated blanket, and it's the fan shroud that focuses the fan into the blades of the cooling element. Looks like quite a bit of water there. Not quite sure how to get the water to fall off the blades. Let's see, get the blanket back in. Just let that run a little while longer and see how much we end up with at the end of the day. That was not producing much. That's how much I got at the end of the day yesterday. This is another morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I've already turned the thing back on. We aren't producing any power yet, and I'm taking a chance by going ahead and turning it on, because we've got just a hair over 10 volts in the batteries right now. But the sun's coming up, and it's going to be a bright sunny day, so it should catch up and keep it going until the end of today. And I'm hoping to see that doubled by the end of the day. Well, that was a really bad idea. I should never turn on the dehumidifier before the sun is actually hitting the panels. It took the power down to just a few volts, and it took probably half a day just to get it back up. So what I've done is I have ordered two more 100-watt solar panels. So I'm going to be revamping my power pod here. Okay, we'll try that again. Get the new panels up, and the sun hadn't quite hit them yet. I went ahead and turned on the machine. I think that the new panels will allow it to catch up. The pod's ready to make power. The problem is we have cloudy, rainy skies. So who needs to pull water from the air if water is falling from the sky? Well, I know this is purely coincidence, but it seemed like every time I turn this thing on, it rains. It's been about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Every time I turn it on, it rains. Very, very, very frustrating. See what I mean? And another day of rain. I believe my wife and Mother Nature are conspiring together against me. My wife says she doesn't want me to spend any time or money working on this because she doesn't believe in it. So I tell her the only money that I use on that is money I get from YouTube making these videos, which is the truth. I'll lift this on. That was a no-no. We're gonna turn off the water maker. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on dump load so it can charge back up. It's a little below 10 volts now. I'm thinking about calling that a Rainmaker because it seems like every time I turn it on it rains. So we'll test that theory in another day or two when this rain moves away. But when it's raining, you get a whole lot of different options on how to collect water, but eventually the rain stops and things start drying out again. So we are back to trying to get water out of air. Because the water had been sitting in here for a couple weeks without accumulating anymore, I went ahead and dumped that out and rinsed it out and then started over again. So this is 2 days worth of water. 2 days of running. This isn't fast, but it is accumulating again. Curiosity gets to me sometimes. We are running, it's about 103 degrees inside the shop right at the moment. There it is. There's water in it. Not bad. I'd want it to be colder than that in a refrigerator, but so that's the contrast. Not bad. Put it all back together again. Now it's just a matter of leaving it alone and letting it do its job. It's been several days. I've run out of time, so I need to do this today, or I won't be able to do it. Won't be able to do it for at least 5 more days. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out and pour it in a glass and see what it looks like. Left in there. That'll be a good starting point for the next batch. It's pretty. Let's see what it tastes like. Wow. Very nice. Not bad like that, but if I was still worried about bacteria, I would just boil it. And we'll try that right now. I've heard a lot of bad reviews about these little 12-volt plug-in dilly bops. But when I took this out of the package, I noticed all the coils were touching each other. So what you want to do is just separate those just a little bit so the current passes through all the coil, not just jump across the top where the pieces are touching each other. I have a plug right there, and I'll just set that in my water and turn it on and see how long it takes to warm up. I think at this point you can probably make a cup of soup or a cup of tea, or in my case I'm going to do a little coffee. Ouch. Wow. Ooh, that's nice. Well, I believe that's about the best I can get using Peltiers for this experiment. They use an extraordinary amount of power and produce very little. So I've been shopping for the next set of components to use for my collecting water from air experiments. The basic parts I'm looking for is a compressor from a very small 110 volt refrigerator. They draw a little power compared to the cold they produce. I also need a copper coil condenser, something like what they would use in a moonshine steel. And I need a copper pipe to put the coil into to act like I can wrap insulation around it and keep the coil cold. If you would like to pitch in $1 or $2 towards my projects, it would speed up the acquisition of parts. I've been earning around $100 every 3 months from my YouTube videos, so I'll have enough for the next project eventually. But if you'd like to help me produce my project videos more quickly, there is a PayPal contribution link in the video description. Or if you have a PayPal account, you can send money to a friend and avoid losing a percentage of the contribution to fees. My email address is in the video description for that purpose. After all, if you're going to send me $1 or $2, you're a friend of mine.